All right, guys, you got this. Let's go. Gun right, triple E. Close that go. On one, on one.
Ready?
Ready.
What's up, guys? It's Pick'em with HuddleGG. Welcome back to another episode of Ask Huddle. If you guys are new here, first of all, welcome. We appreciate you being here. Second of all, this is a series that we do each week where we answer your guys' questions. So if you have a question you'd like answered in a future video, wherever you're watching this, just make sure you leave that question in the comment section below, and we'll do our best to get to it. If you don't see it in a future video and you want to ask in our Discord is completely free to join. Go to HuddleGG/Discord, and you can ask that question there as well. Again, appreciate you being here today. The camera is off for today's episode. I have been sick the last week. You can hear it in my voice. So didn't have the camera on for this, but typically have the camera on so we can talk it through together. But we're still going to go through these great questions that we have this week. And the first question today is going to come from Atlanta Falcons 427, and they ask, how do you get better with your user? Now, this is a question that we get quite a bit, actually, and it's something that is very important if you want to take your game to the next level when it comes to being a better defensive player. Now, when it comes to being a better user, there are three things that are important, okay? The first thing, and two of these you can't really practice. It just comes with understanding the game and getting more reps. The first thing is going to be you need to recognize what your opponent is running. Right? If you recognize the routes that your opponent is trying to run, and you recognize the popular formations and the popular route combinations that people run, that's going to help you understand how you can take away the things that they're trying to do, correct? So if you just are running out there like a chicken with your head cut off and you don't know exactly where the routes are going, and again, you don't have to be perfect every time, right? But you have to have an idea of what they're doing based off of the other routes on the field. So if they have a streak and a flat to the right side, you're going to expect there's going to be a corner or something out breaking deep to the right side as well. Just simple things like that is going to really take your ability to user to another level, because now you know the areas of the field your opponent is trying to attack, and you can focus on being there each time. The second one is going to be understanding your responsibility, right? So that's going to be based off of the play that you call. So if we look at our defense here and we would be in a cover 2 in this situation, and this is our user, we're responsible for the middle of the field here, intermediate depth, okay? Now, sometimes you can go cover deep as well because your safeties are vulnerable in between them. But if you're using this guy here and you're covering all the way out here, or you're covering this area and taking the responsibility of your other player out of the picture, you're going to put yourself in a bad position, right? So understanding your responsibility on a play is important as well. And like I said, that changes with the play call, right? So if we were in cover 3, our job now is over here, okay? So if you look at this yellow bubble here, or you look at this play art of what our job is, the easiest way to start out recognizing this is just think this yellow circle right here is the area you should be covering, okay? So just try to cover this area right here, and you'll be in a good starting point. Now, you can start to venture off and rotate with players if they're starting to roll out and different things like that. But in general, just think of that entire circle as your area of the field. Now, the third one, and the one that you can actually practice, is going to be just understanding the movement of a player. Now, you can do that in practice mode. Just go onto the user and just run around before the snap. You don't even have to do this at the snap, right? So just understanding when I can change direction, how I can change direction, what I can do here. Again, you can just see getting used to the movement of the players. So if you're covering down here and then you want to come back and cover a post going the opposite way, just understanding what that looks like, right? So if there's a drag coming from left to right and you're covering that and then you want to go back, just understanding what that's going to look like physically on your player is another way to improve your user. So again, just understanding one, what the route combination is going to be from the opponent, two, understanding what your responsibility is, and then 3, just being comfortable with the movement of the player that you are going to be using on the defensive side of the ball. Our next question today comes from Jones9921, and they ask, can the guard disengage blitz be blocked with an attached tight end? Now, this is a good question, and the quick answer is yes, it can be. We're going to show you how, but first let's talk about what the blitz is. So a lot of times they're going to come out on this dime 3-2 or dime 1-4. A lot of times they'll do it out of cover 4 drop. They're going to blitz the left of screen linebacker, and then they're going to bring their user here over the guard, and then they're going to hold down, and then when the opponent says hike here, you're going to see that we make contact, peel off, and then our second level defender there, that left of screen middle linebacker, is going to be able to come in free. Now, if you do want to block this with an attached tight end, the tight end does have to be on the side of the blitz. Okay, so if we're blocking the tight end to the right, that's not going to help us out here with this blitz. But what we want to do is we want to block that tight end, and then we're going to look at the blocking assignments, right? So you can see here, right now it's not giving us really what we want, because we want somebody to go block that guy with the M above his head and make sure that that's their main and primary target, right? So when you block your tight end, if you half slide away from the tight end, you can see that that left tackle is now responsible one-on-one for that middle linebacker there that is blitzing that we talked about in the last rep. So even if we run into the guard here, that is not going to do anything for our opponent, because again, our guard is not the one who's responsible for that middle linebacker. So if they go to say, hi, can we run into him? You're going to see that we're still able to pick that up. And then that would give us the time that we would need to make our reads down the field. So again, real quick, it will pick it up if you want. Just make sure that you block the tight end on the side that the blitz is coming, and make sure that you half slide away from the tight end. And then your left tackle should be able to pick up that blitzing linebacker every single snap. Our next question today comes from Maz Taraz, and if I mispronounce your guys' names, I do apologize. But they ask, how do you change the camera angle when you're in the game? So this is a really good question, one that we actually get quite a bit. And the first thing that's important is you need to go into your game option. So if you're in the ultimate team screen, you just push the start button. You can do this from the main menu as well. But when you go to game options, you need to go down on this game options to where it says camera toggle. Now, if your camera toggle is on, that means that you can change your angle during the game. Okay, if it's off, which you saw mine was off, I have it off because I never want to accidentally get on the wrong camera angle right before the snap, and then they say hike before I'm able to change it. Okay, so if you don't want the ability to change your camera in game, just turn this camera toggle to off, and then put your offense and defensive camera settings to the camera that you want to use. The one that is most normal for people to use is the standard camera angle. But if you do have this on, when you are in game, it's just a simple flick of down or up on the D-pad. So once you're in game, if you have this camera toggle on, just flick your D-pad down or push it up, and that's going to change your angle depending on which way you need to go, and that'll get you to the appropriate camera angle. So again, make sure your settings are the way you want them first. If you do want the ability to change your camera during the game, make sure the camera toggle is set to on, and then when you're in the game, again, just use down and up on the D-pad, and that'll allow you to switch that camera to whatever you want it to be. Our next question today comes from EpicDude28, and they asked, who wins between Route Technician and Inside or Outside Shade? This is a question we get a lot, and what you're going to see is the abilities actually cancel each other out. So essentially, if you have a matchup where a Route Tech is going against an Inside Shade inside the numbers, or a Route Tech is going against an Outside Shade outside the numbers, or an Inside Shade is going against a one step ahead, those abilities are essentially going to just cancel each other out, and I'll show you here visually what it looks like. So if you look to the left side of the screen here at our slot receiver, now we have Route Tech on him right now, and the player that's just above him, who doesn't have any star underneath his feet, he does not have any ability, right? So what you're going to see is when our guy goes to make the break on this in route, you're going to see that the receiver's his star is going to light up. Okay, so if we say hike, you're going to see that light up, it flashes, and that's going to allow him the additional break bonus when he is running these routes. So if we run this again, you're going to see again that receiver should get his thing to light up, and you can see it lit up once again on the break, and that allows him to get better separation against man coverage. Now again, Route Tech is only against man coverage, and then inside shade, outside shade, one step ahead, those are man coverage abilities as well. Now what we're going to do here is we are going to put in a receiver who doesn't have any ability as well, and we are going to put in a corner who has inside shade, just so you can see what it looks like for the corner when he lights up. So if you look to the left side of the screen there, again, you can see that our receiver, the slot, does not have any ability. He has no star underneath of him, where now that slot cornerback does. So if we go to say hike here, you're going to see that the corner is going to be the one who lights up here. That just allows him to stay a little bit closer. Now what you're going to see is there are certain routes in the game that just do a good job against man coverage, regardless of if you have an ability or not. But you're going to see if we run that again, that guy is going to light up that time, the slot corner, right? So anytime that you are in man coverage and inside shade on these inside routes, and the receiver doesn't have an ability to counter you, you're going to have your guy light up. Same thing if you're on offense and you have Route Tech, you're going to see you light up as well, as long as they don't have anything on the defensive side of the ball. Now if we go Route Tech against inside shade here, So if we come back out in that same exact play here, and you can see that now the receiver and the slot cornerback have stars underneath them. So again, we have route tech on the receiver and inside shade on the slot corner. When we go to say hike, you're going to see that neither of them are going to light up. And at that point, it is just ratings on ratings. And again, the leverage, the alignment, everything that comes into play with that. But if we run that again, you're going to see that, again, if we match these up against one another, they're essentially just going to cancel each other out. And then it's just going to be the man on the man. No abilities are going to be in play in those specific one-on-one matchups. Our last question for today comes from Ian Evans, and they ask, when running match coverage, do zone KOs or man KOs work best? This is a really, really good question, and one that we get a lot each year. And it's a valid question, and one that can actually be a little bit confusing in the answer. Now, when it comes to just the KO abilities you're asking about here, zone KO abilities are going to be what matters most, and they're going to be the only thing that actually matters. Man KOs are never going to light up when you're in match coverage. Because your player's technically on a zone assignment to start the play, so it is going to rely on your zone KOs. So for instance, if you're in quarters and the ball's thrown deep down the left sideline, you're going to want deep out zone KO or deep zone KO on that corner in order to knock that ball out. If you have deep route KO, it's not going to do anything, even if your player is matched at that point. Now, where it does get a little bit confusing is when it comes to your attributes or your ratings that matter. The man coverage rating is what matters once your player matches. Okay, so once he gets into match coverage and starts to play man-to-man, the man coverage rating is going to come into play. You do have to differentiate between your ratings and your abilities. Ratings-wise, when running match, you want to look at your man coverage ratings. When you're looking at your abilities, you want to look at zone. Now, when we are looking at these zone KOs, it is important to know that it's not the zone that your player is on that's going to affect if it lights up or not. It's where the ball is thrown. So for instance, if we only had deep out zone KO on this player here and the ball was thrown 15 yards and he was in an outside quarter, all right, again, let's say we're playing quarters again and they throw a 15-yard out route and we make a break on the ball and hit the receiver, we're not going to get that KO because that's not where deep out zone KO lights up. We would also have to have mid zone KO because that's the mid zone KO area of the field. So again, where the ball is thrown determines which zone KO is important in that situation. But again, when you are in match coverage, zone KOs are going to be the ones you want to add on to your player to knock that ball out. And when you're looking at the best players in terms of attributes, you want to look at the man coverage rating.